Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I am hopping into fall vibes already. I know it's now just September, but I love the fall. It's actually one of my favorite seasons, so whenever I have a reason to get cozy and bring out the fall vibes, I'm gonna do it. So I'm switching things up today and I am embracing fall energy. The weather is so cozy. It's raining right now. Honestly, I think we're supposed to get like 3 to 5 inches of rain. So yeah, that's my favorite kind of weather during fall, even though I know it's not technically fall yet, but we are gonna embrace it anyway. Today I have a really exciting video for you and I'm really excited to film this. So this video is my tarot and oracle deck collection. I have accumulated over 50 decks, so I'm really excited to share with you. Titan, what are you doing? Sorry, my dog is causing mayhem over here. I just don't want you to sneak away with some of my tarot decks because he has done that before. He tends to choose his favorite one and take it to his bed. So we don't need him doing that today, right? Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, I have collected over 50 decks that I absolutely love, and today I'm going to share them with you, as well as leave links below so that you can, pick out whichever ones are your favorite and order them if you're interested. I'm also going to kind of talk about like which ones I think are more beginner friendly and which ones are a little bit more on the intermediate side. So yeah, I'm going to start with tarot first. All of the tarot decks that I have. I definitely have more oracle decks than I do tarot decks because I just find that as much as I love tarot decks, essentially each deck is very similar. The only thing that's usually different is sometimes the wording, like because there's 4 different suits, right? You have the wands, cups, pentacles, and swords. So sometimes depending on the deck, it will call it a different name for those, and then also of course the imagery is going to be different as well. But I just find that oracle decks, you're able to have more variety. You'll see what I mean as I show these to you. So yeah, I'm going to start with tarot first, so I'll go grab my first deck. So starting off here, I have this deck, and I'm going to say this one first only because I lost the packaging or like the box that it came in, so I'm not completely sure on what the name of this deck is. I know it's a mini deck because as you can see these cards are really small, but I will go back on my order history and kind of try to find the link for you guys if you're interested in this one. I do love it because I honestly love purple. It's one of my favorite colors, and as you can see on the edge here, there's like this gold edging detail, which I think is really nice. And the images are just really pretty. You see like the purple and the gold. Overall, I just really love the colors. And this is just a mini tarot deck. I don't use this very much anymore, but when I first got it, I used to use it to just pull a daily like 1 or 2 cards for like a daily message, and it was really great for that purpose. I mean, I'm sure I could use this more. I just tend to, when I'm collecting all of these tarot decks, I tend to forget about the ones that I have. Like even today when I was pulling out my collection, I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot I had this one. I actually love this deck. Like I need to use this more often. So yeah, I believe it's like the everyday basic on the go mini deck. But like I said, I'll try to find the link if you're interested in this one. It's really cute in my opinion, super pretty, and I just like to leave it over here by my window, and I should reach for it more often, honestly, because I do really enjoy it. So that's the first tarot deck. And the next one that I have is this Crystal Visions Tarot by Jennifer Galasso. And honestly, the thing is that I like to keep all of the packaging except for, of course, the first one that I really got. But I like to keep the packaging that it came in so that I can remember what the deck is called and who created the deck and things like that. But some of the packaging I really can't stand. Like don't get me wrong, this is really easy to store, but I find that the box packaging, it just gets ripped really easily, and sometimes that just bothers me. But this is a beautiful tarot deck. This is the outside, as you can see. It's just so pretty. And then the imagery, again, like when it comes to reading your tarot, I find that having really intuitive imagery is really important. So as I'm showing these to you, try to connect with the images, and if you feel like an intuitive pull towards the images, then I think that's a sign that that would be a good deck for you. Very beginner friendly. A lot of the decks that I have come with guidebooks, but I don't remember if this one does. I'm not really sure. I can't remember, but a lot of them do. It's a really pretty deck. So yeah, that is the Crystal Visions Tarot. This next deck that I have is the Angel Wisdom Tarot. I want to say it's by Radley Valentine, and it does come with a guidebook as well. Now, in my opinion, you don't even need the guidebook with this, because this is a great deck to get if you want to try to learn what each card means, right? Because it will literally give you descriptions at the bottom here of what the card means, and then it will also show you like the sign. So like wands represent the fire signs in tarot, and then pentacles represent the earth signs in tarot. And I'm thinking about putting together a video of how I read and interpret tarot myself, so that if maybe you'll find that helpful, and if that would be helpful to you, leave a comment below and let me know. So I will definitely create a video like that if you're interested. And then the cups represent the water signs. So yeah, I find that's really helpful, and each card will have a descriptive meaning of what it means. So this is the Two of Wands, and it says taking the next steps, bold and ambitious choices, partnering with others who share your dreams, expanding your plans, and continue to move forward. So it will kind of just tell you what it means when you pull the card, which I think is really helpful. And I mean, the imagery is really nice as well. I don't pull for this one anymore because I find it's definitely very beginner, and it was more so helpful to help me like learn how to read each card. But again, I don't like to go exactly by like the exact description of what each card means. I also like to pull additional intuitive messages through reading the imagery on the card, depending on the deck that I'm using. But if you are in the beginning stages and you want to just kind of understand and learn tarot, then this would be a really good deck for you to start off with. This next deck that I have is the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krantz. And I believe this was gifted to me, and I absolutely love this because it does have like wild animals on here, which I think is just so stunning. The imagery is just so stunning as well. But one thing that it might be a little bit more on like the intermediate side, not really like extremely complicated to read and understand, but there's a lot of Roman numerals, and so it's not as easily intuitive in my opinion. Like this is the Three of Wands, but if you're a beginner, you may not know that unless it specifically says like Three of Wands on the card, if you get what I'm saying. But other than that, it's extremely stunning, and I love the imagery, and I love animals, so I love to connect with decks that do have animals as well. It's a very like nature deck, and instead of like King of Cups, it says Father of Cups. So that's kind of what I meant by like sometimes each tarot deck will use different names for like meaning the same thing. It just really depends on the deck that you use. But yeah, if you're into like wildlife, animals like that, I think you would really love this deck. Just if you are a beginner, you may find it harder to understand at first, but you can easily learn and then connect with it more. but I really do like this deck. So the Wild Unknown Tarot. The next deck that I have is the Muse Tarot. Boxes like these, like, I find really cute, really nice quality as well, so it keeps my cards pretty protected. They are a little bit bulkier, so when it comes to storing things, but I do enjoy it a little bit better than just like the typical like box that I was showing you before. I love the Muse Tarot. It also comes with a guidebook, I believe, and I find the imagery just so stunning. Again, this deck will use different names as well, so like for swords it uses voices, so Ace of Voices, and then for pentacles it uses materials, so 3 of materials, and then we have for cups it uses emotions. So I mean, and honestly that's a little bit more intuitive in my opinion, because materials are like the physical things, money, you know, you focus on like the career aspect, the physical aspects of life, and emotions clearly will represent like your emotions. So I find it a little bit more intuitive in my opinion, but it is just so stunning. And then inspiration represents the wands, which again, I just find really intuitive. So this is a very intuitive deck. The imagery is stunning, and I loved the guidebook as well. It was really helpful. So perhaps you feel drawn towards this deck. Another one of my absolute favorite tarot decks is the Light Seers Tarot. This is by Chrisanne, and oh my gosh, this is just so beautiful. Again, it has the packaging that I enjoy, and it has a little quote in there, which I think is really nice and cute. But this deck is just, I love it. It's super intuitive. The outside of it, and then the imagery is just stunning, and it's super beginner friendly. It's a 3 of Cups here, Page of Swords, like stunning imagery in my opinion. I don't know, I'm just somebody who really connects with imagery when it comes to tarot decks, so that's really important to me. So this one I just really find myself connecting with a lot. So if you like this imagery and you feel connected to it, then this might be a perfect beginner friendly tarot deck for you, and I believe it comes with a guidebook as well. Now, this deck was one of the first decks that I got because I wanted the basic, you know, original tarot deck. I guess it's not like the original, but this is, the imagery on here is what most tarot is based off of. So as you can see, it is worn out because I have used this a lot. It's one of the first ones I ever got. It's the Rider Tarot deck, and this author is by Rider-Waite, I believe. But this is perfect to start off with. Beginner friendly deck, and the imagery is just the classic that you will see often. So if you're looking for just like your basic tarot that's based off of the original deck with the images, like the imagery is based off of the original, then this is a great deck to start with. And I find that it gives me a lot of intuitive messages. Like, I connect with it really well. It is one of the first ones I've ever connected with, so that's really great. So yeah. Again, packaging is not my favorite. I'm gonna have to, I have been meaning to get like a better organization system for my decks so that I can keep them packaged a little bit better, but for now I do what I have to. These next two decks are by the same company, I want to say, but I believe that the creators are different, but I believe it's like this, it's by the same processor company, if that makes sense. I don't know, I could also be wrong, but it looks like Sterling Ethos New York is like the company, and then This creator of the Modern Witch Tarot deck is by Lisa Sturl, and then the Cosmic Slumber Tarot is Tilly Walden. And I absolutely love these, again, because I'm such an image person. The Modern Witch Tarot deck was one of the first ones that I got after I got the basic, and I find this deck just so stunning. I also love the quality of the cards. They're like laminated in a sense, so I find it's really easy to shuffle them. They're really durable. And this is like the outside of the deck, and then we've got the imagery here. So 2 of Wands, the World card, and we have 6 of Pentacles here. It's just really beautiful. Whoops. And again, like, I just love the quality of the cards. So yeah, definitely recommend. Super beginner friendly. That was the Modern Witch Tarot deck. And then this one, the Cosmic Slumber, I really like. I think that's cool. These are really durable boxes for storing them, but I also find them a little bit bulky, but again, does the job, keeps them protected. And this deck is similar with the laminated cards. A little bit thinner though, in my opinion. I do enjoy this imagery too. I love the colors. I find it's really vibrant. So perhaps you would connect with this deck as well. Sorry if you can hear that rain dripping. Like, that's really frustrating, and I really hope that doesn't like bother anyone. But I feel like it's gonna come off a little bit frustrating. Maybe if I close my window. Honestly, I don't know if that helped make a difference, but here's hoping that it's not as loud. Oh, by the way, this is like the background of the cards. The background, I guess, like the, you know what I mean. Anyways, so yeah, I really love this one, and I connect to it pretty well. And I really find the packaging to be really cute. So this next one is the Mermaid Tarot. Now, the packaging for this is just so excessive. There's just no need, in my opinion, for it to be packaged like this. Like, look at all that wasted space. If you can see, it's like, I don't know. I just find it way too bulky, not easy to store. And I'm probably going to look for a new storage for this guy here, but I will say though, I love this deck, and I found the guidebook to be amazing. It's super detailed, has so much info, which I really love. It's the Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robertson, illustrated by Julie Dillon. So this is what the outside of the deck looks like here, and then we have stunning imagery. If you enjoy mermaids and you connect with like the water and the sea, and you love sea life and just like mystical mermaids, then you're gonna love this deck. It's super intuitive too, in my opinion. I just connect with it really well, and I'm somebody who loves the ocean, loves mermaids, so perhaps that's why, but I do really enjoy this one. So yeah, that's the Mermaid Tarot deck. Another deck that is just absurd when it comes to the packaging is the Green Witch Tarot deck by Anne Mora. I, again, really love this deck, but the packaging is very similar to the Mermaid Tarot. Again, I think it's because the guidebook was larger, so they just tried to make it so that they could fit it in there as well. But I love the imagery on this deck as well. It's super intuitive, very mystical and witchy-like. Ooh. So they have different names. So like this says 5 of chalices. So instead of cups, they use chalices. And they have pentacles still. So you can see the sun card here. They have a different name for the swords. But is that swords or is it wands actually? Cannot tell. I think it's, yeah, it's swords. Yeah, so they have wands for wands, so. But I love this deck. And if you are into like the mystical witchiness, the witchy vibes, then this is definitely one that you will love. I think this is perfect for as well like the fall season. It just puts me in the mood, gives me all those fall Halloween witchy vibes. Another deck that I have is this Life is like a board game tarot. I don't remember, I think I got this on Etsy actually. I don't remember why, to be honest, because this is not a very intuitive deck, but I thought it was fun. Maybe it's because I thought it was fun. It has like the cards looking like a Monopoly game. And it, like for example, 7 of Swords here, something shady way, which I thought was really funny. So like usually when you pull the 7 of Swords, it's like, you know, lies and deceitfulness or somebody like being shady in your life. So I thought that was kind of cute. Got the 6 of Swords, better things ahead way. Like I find that actually really cute. And even though there's no imagery, it pretty much gets to the point of what it means when you pull the card. I would have liked a little bit of imagery. There's some cards in here like that have imagery, but again, it's like super basic, super simple. Like the Wheel of Fortune is simply a wheel. The Magician is simply a wand. So I think it could have done a better job with that, but regardless, they get straight to the point, very basic. 2 of Swords, Indecision. It's just very to the point and basic, and I thought it was fun because it's like a Monopoly board game, and I thought, why not, right? So if you're looking just for something fun and simple and basic, then perhaps this would be a deck that you would be interested in. So yeah, that was all of my tarot decks that I have. The rest are all oracle cards. So first, starting off, we have the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, which also came with a guidebook. I really like this deck because it has cards for like the chakras and things like that. Super pretty. Blossoming Abundance. Then we have Financial Constraints. And it also has, like, you could do numerology with this deck as well. Door to Romance. Angel of Love. And like I said with the chakras, so 7th chakra, the Garden and the Gate, and again, the guidebook, if you can't connect with it like intuitively right away, the guidebook will kind of help you learn each card and what it might mean if you pull each card, like certain cards. The Sun, so it has a little bit of major arcana in there, which is kind of cool. Victory. So yeah, perhaps you'd feel called to get this deck. It's a really nice one in my opinion. This is one of the newer decks that I got recently because, like I said, fall Halloween season, and I want to start incorporating, you know, seasonal decks into my content because why not? And this one is the Halloween Oracle by Stacy DeMarco, I want to say. That's how you pronounce it. But as you can see, this is just an example of what the guidebooks would look like if it came with one, and it will give you descriptions of what each card means. But this is a super fun deck. The imagery is really pretty. Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. Skull of Darkness, blind spots. just a very like spooky deck that gives you all the fall and Halloween vibes. So I definitely wanted it to do some of my future pick a card readings for you guys because I think it would be fun to kind of incorporate a little bit of a fall Halloween vibe. I'm also looking at another Halloween tarot deck that I'm trying to also purchase. So hopefully I can get that as well to incorporate in some of these readings to give you the fall like spooky vibe. I just think it's fun. So then I also have the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. And this also comes with a guidebook, I believe. But it also has descriptions as well. So when you read it, when you pull a card, you can easily see what each means. It's very like energy. Again, it has the chakras. So if you like to connect with your chakras or figure things out like that, then this might be a really great deck for you if you like energy cards and things like that. And in Earth, it's just really a beautiful deck. I'm just hoping that you can see, like, the lighting isn't too bright so you can see the words, but so these next two oracles are by Rebecca Campbell. Now perhaps she's like really well known, and these two oracles are really popular. I find a lot of people use them, and honestly, stunning imagery. I am obsessed with these oracle decks. I love Rebecca Campbell, and in fact I have some of her books, like for example here I've got Letters to a Starseed as well as Rise Sister Rise, and I definitely recommend both of them. Great books. But yeah, so this packaging is really unique as well. Like, I thought that was really cute. And like I said, I connect so well with the imagery, like how beautiful and stunning. So for example, this says, I'm sorry, defenselessness, writing past wrongs, uprooting, star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper. It's just so beautiful. And if you're like into that starseed side of spirituality, then this would probably be a great deck for you, as well as the other one. This is the Starseed Oracle, by the way. The Cosmic Heart, Devotion, Potency, Make Your Life a Moving Prayer. I just really enjoy this oracle deck. This here, Weight of the World, Boundaries, Let It Go, It's Not Yours to Carry. So if you pull this, like, you might need to start setting more boundaries in your life depending on whatever the question is that you're asking. If you pull this, you have, you know, soul memories and gifts that you have got from many lifetimes now. I just really love this oracle deck. And I believe she has a new one coming out soon, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong, but I thought that I saw that she does. I don't know. And then this one is Work Your Light Oracle cards. You are the Oracle. I love that. Again, stunning. This one's another boundaries card here. Just like, it's beautiful. Beautiful imagery. And I love the descriptions of each card. And I just connect with them really well. So yeah. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? So if you pull this card, you would have to ask yourself that question and then realize that, you know, maybe you need to continue pushing forward with whatever you feel like you're being called to step up and lead in. Could be a mystic or a teacher if you pull this card, or you could be dealing with somebody who's a mystic or a teacher. I just love how with oracle cards you can connect in so many different ways. But yeah, those are two of my favorite oracle decks, to be honest. This next one is Mystical Wisdom. This is written by Gay Guthrie and art by Josephine Wall. The art is beautiful on these cards. Like, look at how stunning. And again, this is really like beginner friendly, easy to understand. Like you pull this, it says originality, blaze your own trail. This one says confrontation, pick your battles wisely, sensuality. It's just super easy to understand, I think, and connect with. Very artsy, so if you're like a huge artsy person, I think you'd love this one. Again, like as I go through this, I'm realizing how many decks I haven't connected with in a really long time that I need to start connecting with again because I miss them. And this is the background I forgot to show you. It's just so pretty. This one here is Earth Magic by Stephen D. Farmer. I really enjoyed this one as well. It does come with a guidebook because you might need a guidebook for some of them. I mean, it's pretty simple. It just has like one word here, tries to explain it with another word, but sometimes I find that I do need the guidebook just to kind of get me a little bit more of a direction as to what the card means. But often I can also connect with the imagery, like mountain strength. Like when you think of mountains, you think of like mountains blocking you and you have to climb up the mountains. You need that strength and that willpower. You might deal with some obstacles, like things like that. But overall, it's pretty easy to kind of connect with. And I do enjoy this one, but it's very simple and basic too. This is another one of my favorites, which is the Oracle of the Fairies by Karen Kay and artwork by Ginger Kelly. I love this deck because I also love fairies. So if you connect with like fairies or anything of the sort, it's like that mystical, magical, whimsical feel to it, then you might like this deck. Super intuitive and easy to understand. Healing, and then it goes into description here. Now is the time for you to give or receive healing. Everyone has a natural ability to heal others. Yes, even you. So if you pull this, then, you know, it might indicate that you're a healer or it's time to heal, things like that. But yeah, I love this Oracle deck. It's so beautiful as well. Trying to hopefully that you can like see and read the words as well. So my camera's picking up on it. Another really popular Oracle deck is the Moonology Oracle cards. This is by Yasmin Boland, artwork by Nyx Rowan. I think everybody that I see on YouTube that does pick a card readings and things like that has this deck. And if you connect with the moon, or you love the moon and the moon phases and things like that, then this will be really great for you. So you can see it has beautiful images of the moon, and then it will tell you like this is full moon in Gemini. The answers you need are coming. I love that it incorporates like the zodiac signs and things like that. Full moon in Cancer. Personal issue reaches resolution. So when you pull this, you know, it could also be like a timing card. So maybe when like the full moon is in Cancer, that's going to be significant for you. Or it could indicate that you're a Cancer sign, or you're dealing with somebody who's a Cancer, or just in general, it means that you have a personal issue reaching resolution soon. So it really all depends on the question you're asking and you using your intuition to connect with the card in the way that you feel you are meant to connect with it. New moon eclipse. This one's in Virgo. And then you have the super moon, and then this one's like the north node. So if you're into astrology, like the north node is usually your destiny point that you reach when you're stepping out of your comfort zone. So this says step out of your comfort zone. It's a really great deck, and I believe there's also another one coming out, I want to say in October, but I could be wrong. Titan, what are you doing over there? Oh, okay. Yep. He loves to explore. This next one is the Magickal Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish. I do love this deck. Again, the box is a little bit larger, but I think it came with a guidebook, so maybe that's why. the outside. It has different imagery, which I think is really pretty. Some of them are similar, but then there's also different ones. And I also love this Oracle deck because it has numerology, which I love incorporating numerology into my readings. And then it says harmony, as I create, I will share. Harmony, divine with love and care. Then you see study here. Harvest. Destiny. I just love this deck. So yeah, if you're a fan of unicorns, then you might like this deck here, the Oracle of the Unicorns by Cordelia Francesca Brabs. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I love the imagery of this one as well. This is the outside, which I just think is beautiful. And then kind of like reminds me of a similar feel to like the fairy deck and some of the other decks that I've already showed you, but it will give you like a basic word. Like this says nature, ground yourself, find a sanctuary in nature, connect with the elements. So that could be a message you need to hear if you pull that. You got freedom here. I just enjoy that it's really intuitive and easy to understand, very beginner friendly. And I do love unicorns, so if you like unicorns too, then this would probably be a deck that you would enjoy. Numerology, I have this one here. This is like a velvet case, so it kind of gets a little dirty, but I have this numerology deck that I got on Etsy. I love the gold like edges of this deck, and I love numerology, so I use these a lot in my readings. I also love the little like description it will give, and it will say things like I am patient. It's like an affirmation. I am expanding, and then it will like go into detail about what it means. So if you're into numerology, then you would probably love this deck. I have the Soul's Journey, lesson card. So this is by James Van Orpraga. Might be saying that wrong. Stunning though. Again, this is a very basic, beginner friendly deck. Get straight to the point. There's not much of imagery going on. I mean, other than like if you connect to imagery like this, then you might enjoy it. But it's really basic and get straight to the point. Like I said, super beginner friendly. We'll go ahead and we'll say like blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. It just gets straight to the point. I feel like I need to connect more with a more intense image, so this is a little bit more on the very basic beginner side for me, but it is great and it does get a clear, important message across. The next one I have is the Angel Answers Oracle by Radley Valentine. I believe I already mentioned Radley Valentine, didn't I? I forget what other deck they had. But this is great for like timing messages because it does have timing in here. Like it will have things like, where is it? Well, we'll say something like 4 weeks time, or like a year from now. Perfect timing. So if you ask like timing questions, then this might be really helpful for you. Or if you ask a question and then it will have like a yes or no, or you know, it's up to you, remain positive, ask for help from others, ask your angels, not the right time. I really enjoyed that aspect. I don't connect with this deck as much as I really wanted to. I remember just like feeling like I wasn't connecting to it, but it is really good if you're looking for like a specific timing question answered. or like a yes or no question answered. So perhaps that's of interest for you. One of my favorite oracle decks is the Green Witch Oracle by, this is Shirlene Darcy. Could be saying that wrong, but I love it because it will have like plants and fruits and veggies. It's really like, I don't know, earthy crunchy vibes. And then it also has numerology, as well as sometimes it will show like a sign. So like for this one it shows Scorpio here, and then you have the Aries showing up. But it's really beautiful with flowers and plants and vegetables, like this radish here. And then it will give you like words like passion and happiness. Like, as you can see, oranges here with energy. And this is like the sign of Virgo. Productivity. It shows Cancer here with a pumpkin and an 8, meaning like abundance. Is kind of what I get from like 8. So I feel like there's just so many different ways to connect with it. And also there's a great guidebook that comes with this deck as well, so that's really helpful. This is the Prism Oracle by Nicole Piverato. And yeah, I think I got this on Etsy. Super pretty deck because it's just so colorful. As you can see in the edging, I love like this kind of edging. It's like a rainbow edging. And then it has literally all of the colors here. So if you connect with colors, then you will really enjoy this deck. So like this is like a red, it says anger, reflection, ghost, surrender. Not much of imagery, but more so all about color, I believe. And it's also really good to kind of get your energy, like when you pull a card, like maybe you'll wake up and you'll pull a card just to kind of see what the overall energy of the day is, things like that. Alright, so the next two decks that I have are by Colette Baron Reed, and honestly I love her Oracle deck so much. This one is the Enchanted Map Oracle cards, and it comes with a really helpful guidebook as well, because some of them I feel like you might need the guidebook just to kind of, you know, sometimes there's messages in there that are meant for you to hear, but you can also use the imagery and the word at the bottom, as well as numerology, to kind of connect with the card further. Like this one, for example, is that if you pull this, then you're going to be reading a lot, learning a lot, maybe going back to school, maybe something involving education, things like that. But there are some cards in this deck that might be not as intuitive, so it's really up to you to use your intuition, connect with the imagery, and then use the guidebook if you need to. It is also pretty similar. It's the Wisdom of the Oracle, and again just has the numerology as well as, you know, a word and an image for you to connect with. Like this says new life, so that would probably be pretty easy to connect with. But then you have like, I don't know, this is blessed, like by the book. I mean, you could connect with it more to the sea, but you might also need to use the guidebook as well. But using your intuition and connecting with the imagery of any kind of oracle or tarot cards is gonna ultimately be your best bet and the most accurate reading, in my opinion, because our intuition is what knows best. And a lot of like when you're reading tarot and stuff, it's really just connecting to your intuition, that inner wisdom within you. I mean, I know a lot of people are afraid to do their own tarot and things like that, but honestly, like, just think of it as an intuitive exercise. I mean, it's really important to protect your energy when you're doing so, because yeah, like other energies and negative energies are real. But anyway, that's just my little rant. The next card that I have is the next deck that I have is the Daily Crystal Inspiration by Heather Eskinois. I honestly like probably butchered that last name, but I love this deck because it has crystals and it's all about crystals, and I love crystals. What I really like is to just kind of pull one of these cards at the beginning of each day or at the beginning of each month or week, and it will give me insights on what crystals I should be focusing on using during the week, month, or etc. And it will also kind of give me like the energy as well. So like, for example, so this is Sunstone, for example. If I pulled this card, then I might want to use Sunstone. And it also says take pleasure in the things you do. So then I might want to realize that it's important for me this week to, you know, enjoy the little things, take pleasure in everything that I do things that make me happy, and things like that. You know what I mean? So they're just so great, and I love crystals, so that's why I love this deck. And if you enjoy crystals too, then perhaps this is another deck that you need to get. Now, I also have this Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco again. I know I mentioned her before. I really love this deck. Again, I love the moon as well, so anything that involves the moon I tend to connect with. I think the imagery is really beautiful, and again, it has the moon phases, and then it also has just like a little bit of words here. So it says resistance, waxing crescent, and then the waning gibbous with resilience. And this here, you can kind of see like there's a little bit of struggle going on, the weight of the world on your shoulders type of thing. Oh, it was so dark I could barely see. Okay, so it says the wild dark moon. But yeah, I just really love the imagery, and I love connecting with any type of like moon cards. So perhaps that might be of interest for you. Then I have this Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I find this deck really beautiful. Again, the imagery is really stunning, but it does come with a guidebook as well, because you might need that for this oracle deck. But the imagery is really beautiful in my opinion. You can see. But I do find that for some of them, it does help to take a look at the guidebook and kind of get to know this deck a little bit more. So I find this one beautiful. This is the Sacred Spirit by Anna Stark, and it's illustrated by Louise Dyer. This is like a really spiritual deck in my opinion. It gives me like spiritual awakening vibes. I love the imagery, and I know I say that a lot, but it's truly just so vibrant. And I find that it's a really spiritual, like spiritual awakening deck. This one here, Between Worlds, New Directions, Eternal Union, New Love is Forming. We have Dark Night of the Soul, Life Brings New Meaning. I mean, it's really great if you're really spiritual or want to do some spiritual readings. Another one of my favorites is the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn. Just really simplistic, and I love the imagery. Like, as you can see, success with this panther here, and you know, you can connect with like even the sky or the panther or the leaves. And then over here, in this one here, opportunity with the moon and the sky just like peeking through, like an opportunity coming through for you. Just, I connect with the imagery so well, and it's so easy and beginner friendly to understand and connect with this deck. This is just going forward, simplicity, abundance, like so beautiful, purification. I love this sunflower picture. It's just stunning artwork. So yeah, this is a really simple deck that I think anybody can connect with, and it's really simple and easy to understand. And this says protection, So yeah, another really simple, easy, and intuitive deck that I feel like a lot of people have is the Spellcasting Oracle cards. This is by Flavia, Kate Peters, and Barbara. So, and the artwork is by Elizabeth. But again, super beginner friendly. Peace, inspiration, love, finding. The artwork's really beautiful and it's so like to the point, straightforward. Lighten your load, commitment, closure, compassion, like I said. So beginner friendly and easy, but just gives you a word that will make your, like, tie your reading together, bring your reading together, things like that. This one that I have here is the Secret Language Light by Denise Jarvie, and I also feel like a spiritual connection to this deck as well. It's just like really spiritual deck, and it's stunning artwork again. I don't know if it picks up, but it's a lot of like pastels as well, but then it goes into the deep colors. Like this is Soulcraft, Inner Voice, Divine Animals, Nourish, Soul Love. So again, it's just like a really spiritual deck that I absolutely love, and the artwork is just so beautiful. So if you're looking for any decks that connect a lot with like your spiritual side, I really find that this one, as well as the last one that I showed you, are really great options for that, especially if you're going through any sort of spiritual awakening. Now I have these two spirit animal decks that I really love. I love working with like trying to see what my spirit animals are. Like perhaps you see a certain animal all the time, that could be your spirit animal. Even usually your pets are your spirit guides. But yeah, this one here is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit, which I believe is also the same creator who created the Wild Unknown Tarot deck that I talked about earlier. But again, just like great artwork, and it just has tons of animals. So if you ever want to do a reading to kind of find out like what spirit animal you have in your life, or what spirit animal you resemble, or just anything like that, this is a great one that you can reach for. It comes with a guidebook. I find the guidebook you really need to use because it's really helpful. Otherwise it doesn't give much else. It just gives you the name of the animal in a picture as well. So, but again, it is still a great option. The second spirit animal oracle that I have is by, again, Colette Baron Reed. I always love her decks. I like this one a little bit more than the Wild Unknown because it has a little bit more information. Like it says, for example, it has the Roman, I mean not the Roman numerals, but it has numerology up here, and then it tells you like lion spirit, has the image, beautiful artwork, but then it also says like a sentence or two. So this one says be generous of spirit. This one's the turkey spirit. It says give with gratitude and grace. The koala spirit, spirit has a plan. So I find these decks to be a lot more intuitive, and I connect with them just more because of that extra info. But yeah, both are great options for connecting with spirit animals or just trying to get any guidance from spirit animals and things like that. These three I like to use kind of in like any life path readings, life purpose readings, soul purpose readings. So like for example, this is past life. And these are all by like Doreen Virtue, but here's the thing, like I kind of have mixed feelings because I'm pretty sure she created all of this and then all of a sudden went through some sort of, you know, rebirth of her own and finds tarot to be like bad now, something like that. So I don't know, weird vibes, but regardless, these are really great and I can connect them, and I do enjoy using them because they are really helpful. But I know some people would rather not use them because she did all of a sudden go through some sort of like rebirth and no longer likes tarot or anything like that. She's like really against it and is super into her religion now, which honestly, to each their own. Everybody has their own path in life, is what it is. Like, I'm not here to judge anybody, but anyway, this here is the Past Life Oracle deck, and this I find really helpful because like you can do a past life reading to see maybe what you have done in a past life or what gifts you bring over from a past life. So I don't know, it can be really helpful. It's really simplistic and it just gets straight to the point again, but I like to use it sometimes in past life readings. Like scribe or writer, perhaps in a past life you were scribe or writer, perhaps you come from Egypt, just things like that. I really do love this life purpose deck. I like to use this when talking about life path and life purpose because again, it gets straight to the point here, like body work, like maybe you're a tattoo artist, and then it gives a little bit of a description at the bottom. Flowers, maybe you'd be good with working with flowers, or maybe you're into flowers. Maybe leadership, you would be good at a leadership role if you pulled this card for yourself or somebody else. You know, just using this oracle deck when it comes to doing any sort of life purpose, soul purpose reading for people, I find it really helpful. And we also have this one here, the Archetype cards by Carolyn Miss. I will use these as well in soul purpose, life purpose readings because it does give you really great insight. Like this one here, it says poet. So, and then what I like is it gives you a light attribute and a shadow attribute. So that's really helpful as well. Oh, sorry, I might have cut that off. A light attribute and a shadow attribute, which is really helpful. I really enjoy these life purpose cards. This one isn't specifically life purpose, but I find that the info that these cards gives great insight on, you know, figuring out what your life purpose might be, what career you might succeed in, or what, you know, your mission is if you pull cards from that deck. I also have these 3 astrology decks because I absolutely love astrology, and I think a lot of people know that if you've been following me for a while. And so I definitely needed to have some options so that when I do readings, I can pull some astrology cards to see, you know, what signs I might be working with here in my pick a card readings. And also it can just give you insight about somebody you might be dealing with, or, you know, an area of your life that you need to focus on. So this one first is the Barbieri Zodiac Oracle, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's by Barbara Moore, artwork by Paolo, and the last name. But these are beautiful, super simple, like this Virgo, Pisces. It goes through all of the different zodiac signs, and then it has the planets like Neptune and Mars, Pluto. And then it has the elements like earth, fire, water, things like that. So you really kind of need to know a little bit about astrology if you want to use this deck. Like for example, if I pull the Saturn card, usually Saturn's all about restrictions, perhaps karmic lessons that you're learning, self-discipline, things like that. And like Pluto, if you pull Pluto, it's about transformation, control and power. So that's just knowing a little bit about astrology would be really helpful when it comes to using this deck in particular. Then you also have the Black Moon astrology cards here by Susan Shepard. I like this one as well. I find there's a lot more in here because you also have things like part of fortune or solar eclipse. Then you have the Saturn return card, the 12th house. It even talks about the houses because there's 12 houses in your natal chart when it comes to astrology, and that's really helpful. And then on top of that, it has the planets in all of the zodiac signs. So I really love that aspect. And then it also will kind of give you a little bit like fire element, desire, and then numerology as well. So there's just a little bit more to work with when it comes to this deck compared to the last one I showed you for astrology. So if I had to choose, this one's probably my favorite. And then lastly, this one, which I also really enjoy, but the quality of the cards aren't as good. They're a little bit less firm and stable. And then also something I noticed is that it smells kind of like cigarettes, and I can't tell if it's like just from where it came from or if it's just how the type of packaging smells in general, that it has like that cigarette smell. But I definitely do not enjoy it. But I do enjoy these cards because it does get pretty detailed. Like it says Uranus, all about revolution, and then it goes into detail about what that planet means, and if you pull this card, what it could relate to. Mars, which is like action, and then it has Libra and Chiron, which is all about healing and, you know, the wounded healer. And then it also talks about aspects as well, which the other one I don't believe, actually it might talk about aspects, I honestly don't remember, but it also has the houses, so it has it all, and it goes into a little bit of details as well. So again, like, I do enjoy this one also, but it has a weird scent to it, and the quality of the cards aren't as good as the last deck that I showed you, but either way, I still use it. Now the next decks that I have are all about relationships, so I use these when I'm doing relationship readings. So this is the Whispers of Love Oracle cards for attracting more love into your life. The artwork is really intricate. I don't know, I really do enjoy this one, but I don't reach for it as much as I probably could. But it says, you know, things like practice compassion, see things from a fresh perspective. Love is all around you, forgiveness, choose love, embrace your emotions, focus on your heart light, actions speak loudly, and then it goes and gives you like a little bit of detail. Like this one says, love makes the difference, love helps heal past hurts and provides a sense of security and self-worth. Receive with love and appreciation. I don't know, it's just a really beautiful oracle deck, and I could use this in my love readings or just in a general reading if I wanted to. This one I do enjoy using. This is by, of course, Doreen Virtue again. So again, some people might not want to use this because of everything, like controversy surrounding her, but regardless, I do enjoy it and it is helpful. And also, like, the edging of this is really pretty. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's gold and shiny. The quality of the cards are kind of not great, but these have been so helpful in my relationship readings, and they're usually always on point. It says things like playfulness, you deserve love, wedding, stay optimistic about your love life, forgiving and learning, true love, romantic feelings, and then it will go ahead and it will tell you a little blurb about it, like your feelings are real and worth exploring, codependency, addictions are affecting your romantic life. So, I mean, it's been really helpful in relationship readings, which is why I do enjoy it still. There's soulmate cards, there's just so much in here. And then I also have this Lovers Oracle, which I wish that, to be honest, I just wish that they weren't heart-shaped, because they would be super helpful and amazing. But the heart shape of it makes it really hard for me to shuffle them, and it just kind of throws me off. But there's some great messages in here, like healing, imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light, feel your relationship being healed this very moment. Time, you are trying too hard, give it time. Soulmate, your soulmate is already with you in spirit, believe this and it will manifest physically. So I mean, these are really great for love readings, but the heart-shaped cards really throw me off because it's just so hard to shuffle. There's also really pretty imagery as well on the back. Then lastly, for relationship decks, I have this Relationships Oracle, the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle, just like the previous one that I showed. But this one, I guess, is more tied into like relationships, like transformation, transparency, soul, divine feminine, and then it talks about chakras in here too, time, expression. So I mean, I guess you could definitely use these in readings that are not relationship geared or relationship focused, but also you could use them in a relationship focused reading as well. So best of both worlds, I guess. Then I also have these little mini oracle cards. So they're like little mini decks. Whispering Woods, Moon Magic, Secret Garden, and the Starseed. And these are super cool. I just like to kind of just pull one of these cards, right? And then just say I pull it and it's like stillness, reflect on this moment with love, kindness, and compassion. Just like really cute sayings, dreams. The universe speaks to you through your dreams. So if I pull this card, then that might be, you know, a sign to focus on dreams more. Pay attention to the signs that come through your dreams. I love the back of each of these cards. It's just so pretty, and I always connect to like starseed related things. So I just find like the imagery is always so beautiful as well. And then the Secret Garden, it's really similar, but just different words and different things, like adapt. You will get yourself where you want to be present, use the hours, don't count them. Surprises, twilight, strength. Again, it's just like really cute little cards that just help make the reading even that much more informative. Whispering Woods is very similar. Reconnect, patience, path, hope, growth. Pull like a card and it gives you a little bit of advice. And lastly, Moon Magic, which ties in with like the moon on the back of these. It's just so beautiful. Stunning photography and imagery. And then it says things like, I know my shadow side and I work to willingly transform aspects of it. And then this one says, I seek truth and act upon my realizations. And then it will say things like waxing crescent, 1. I see the gateway is open and the pathway is clear. My journey begins. It's just really extra messages that you might need to hear at that time. So I also have these affirmation decks, which this one here is my favorite from Etsy. This one is the Mindful Collective Affirmations, soulful affirmation cards to guide you through the ebbs and flows of life. I find these to be really insightful. I love the backings of these cards. They're super beautiful. And then it has like that gold edging detail. I'm not sure if the camera will really pick it up, but it's really pretty. And these are what they look like. It has this long little affirmation for you, as well as just like a word as well. So for example, like this one says feminine, and then this one says learn, and then it will have an affirmation probably in regards to learning. This one is attitude. So yeah, they're really great. This one says habit, and then it will go on, and I'm not sure if you can read that, if you want to pause it to read it, but it's really beautiful, awesome cards, and I just resonate really well with these when they show up in my readings. So I like to use those at times. And then another affirmations deck that I have is the Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this creator. This tends to be a pretty popular deck. I love how beautiful it is as well. Happiness is my birthright. There is nothing sexier than my authentic truth. I always trust the direction of the universe and know I'm being guided. I find these to be really helpful when I use them in readings, but I actually haven't used them in a really long time. You may also just want to use these in an everyday oracle message. I find that if you're a little beeping, but I find that if you're a beginner, then this is something like super simple and easy to use in your everyday spiritual practice routine. Just, you know, pulling a word of affirmations from a deck just to see what message you have for the day. It can also start your day on a really positive note, so definitely worth checking this out. Then I also have the Wild Offering Oracle, which is by Tasha Silver. Again, this is another popular oracle deck, and I do really enjoy this deck as well. It's the backing. a little bit longer, just like the first one I showed you. But again, you can use these in like an everyday reading or just to add into a reading, like a longer pick a card tarot readings, things like that. I really love this deck as well, and I find the words to be really encouraging. So it's definitely worth taking a look and checking this deck out if you're into like words of affirmation decks and you're newer to tarot, newer to oracle cards, because I find that these are really easy and intuitive to connect with. And finally, my last two decks here, I have these. So this one is the Wild Unknown Art. Again, I believe it's by the same creator who created the Spirit Animal deck that I was talking about, as well as the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. When I first got this deck, I thought it was something different than what I got, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, I was not expecting it to be this. And I find this to be a lot more intermediate. Like, if you're a beginner, these might be a little bit more difficult because I do find it harder to connect with them. There's a lot of Roman numerals, not much of a description. I believe it comes with a guidebook, which is helpful, but I don't know. I don't reach for this as much as some of my other decks. I do love the imagery. It's like watercolors, just kind of like that watercolor effect, that style that she has on all of her decks, but again, it's just not as intuitive as I would have wanted it to be for me personally. Like, maybe you will connect with them more. It's still a great deck, but it's more on the intermediate side, if I'm being honest. And I definitely pull for my guidebook when it comes to this deck, because intuitively I just don't connect with it the way that I do with some of my other decks. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. And lastly, my tea leaf fortune cards. I love these. It adds to my reading. They're really simple. Like, this is quite obvious, right? Love. And then, you know, it also has a little bit on some of them, not all of them, but this one says involvement with the law. This one says a wish is granted, sorrow over a loss, you know, successfully overcoming a problem, new job, new career, and there's just so many of them. I just love my tea leaf fortune cards. I really do. And then also, I believe the purple in here, there's like purple and there's also green. So the green represent like different feelings. Like, this one's happiness, this one's success. It's the astral house, it says on the back of it. And then the purple, which I believe are at the bottom over here, are like the months of the year. So if you want to get specific about timing, we got July, like it goes through all of the months, which is really great for any time related messages that you might be looking for. So yeah, I really do love my tea leaf cards, and I always recommend them because I just find that it makes the reading that much more specific. And apparently includes 200 round cards in a 98-page guidebook. So yeah, well guys, we made it to the end of this video. If you watched it all, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful, that you found some new decks that you want to try out. And like I said, leave a comment below if you would find a video about learning how to read your own tarot helpful. Give this a thumbs up because it really helps when you support my channel. And subscribe so you can stay up to date with my new pick a card readings and future videos. And I really hope to see you next time.